What's going on, Brews?
Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, I am going to talk about advice for new collectors. By the way, why do I wear a headset? No, it's not because I'm bald. It literally helps me concentrate and focus, and not get distracted. And I'm going to talk a lot in this video, okay? This is a serious video. And who is this video for? This video is for anyone who joined the Pokemon hobby this year and or late last year, in the last year, where you have a collection or an investment, it's not near big enough as you'd like, and you'd like to see it grow. Anyone who defines themselves as either an investor, a collector, or more importantly, a hybrid. Because I think a lot of us in this day and age are collectors who are also part-time investors, or we see our collection as a potential investment in the future, or we invest or put more money into our collection knowing that it could potentially gain value. Therefore, this is a very realistic video about expectations, what you can expect, where should your expectations be over the next year or 2 or 3 or 4 years if you are a brand new collector or investor or collector-investor hybrid, okay? That is what today's video is about. MimikBrew's advice to you, the new guy who wants to grow his collection or investment. Did I say that enough different ways?
Let's get to it.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Okay, so again, this is the whole video, me just sitting here talking. So, okay, this is what it's gonna be. I don't even know if I'll probably have some music, maybe. I love music, but we'll see. Point is, serious video. Okay, so cyclical cycles. The Pokemon Company, we're going to tie a lot of this to cyclical cycles and kind of bubbles and ebbs and flows. But before I give you the new collector or investor advice, you need to know what my grand views are on the Pokemon IP and what I think moving forward. Basically, let me just show you very quickly. This is how I think the Pokemon IP will do over the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Okay, let me do that this way. That's up and down, but gradually going up. So what does that mean? I think the Pokemon collectible IP, the hobby, the TCG, whatever, everything about Pokemon will always be successful. I think we have finally found something that genuinely is
Too big to fail.
And if you need proof, look at how just absolutely murderous the actual user reviews are of Pokemon Legends ZA, the new Switch video game. That game doesn't even look like it came out on GameCube. It looks like a Nintendo 64 game. And the point is, like the arms, legs, chest, and head of Exodia, I think that's a Yu-Gi-Oh reference. If one thing fails in Pokemon, the other arms, legs, the branches tend to carry the failing thing and keep Pokemon alive, keep Pokemon current, and all it takes is for Pokemon to hit one home run or one Grand Slam every couple years, and just like that, we get the next bubble, okay? So, if you are a new collector, right here and now, I'm going to tie a lot of this advice towards bubbles and timing, and how even if you enter at probably the least convenient, time, so long as you have faith, you know what you're doing, you don't stretch your finances, everything you're doing isn't followed by a ton of stress and oh my god, and you actually are doing things from a collector perspective, knowing that the more time you put into this, the more you will be rewarded, say, at the next bubble. So that is literally what I'm going to talk about today, and I'm going to compare the 2025 Pokepocalypse bubble to 2021, and I'm even going to bring up people like me, Pokemon influencers, people who 5 years ago I watched on YouTube and I was very, very jealous of, and I was like, wow, they got a lot of crazy shit and it's worth a lot of money. Well, here we are now in 2025. We have a whole new wave of Pokemon content creators, influencers, investors. You have people like me, you have people like Nostalgianomics, you have so many people who now were nobodies 5 years ago, who didn't have any form of collection or investments, who now have a lot. So, if you want to be in this situation 3 or 4 or 5 years from now, that is definitely what I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to relay all of this to anything Pokemon related, whether it be collecting, content creation, anything that you do. The people who literally pay their dues. Yeah, I'm going to talk about paying your dues, putting in the time, put in the years You know, put in the money into Pokemon, buy raw Pokemon cards when they're not shooting to the moon, who are buying booster boxes at $90 and $100 for years upon years. Those are the people who end up in the long run at the next bubble become either the faces of YouTube or have those big, huge collections that you are jealous about, the new person. While timing matters, and you can get really lucky with timing, knowing the ebbs and flows of the market and trusting in the overall IP, you can set yourself up now to have a massive investment or massive collection 2 to 3 to 4 years from now. Okay, so now let's talk about the 2025 bubble, how I think it's going to go into the 30th anniversary, because I think there is some things where we need to readjust our predictions, calculations, and manage our expectations going into next year, because I do not think it is as simple as the 30th anniversary will be the peak of the peak and then it'll fall off from that point forward. We might already be on the backside of the bubble, and the 30th anniversary might just be a little blip to slow down the slowdown, if you know what I'm saying. Let me right now try to prepare you for less gains, less up until the next bubble. So first of all, approximately starting 2 years ago, a very wise and very small man named Nicholas Opossum
and shoved it right up your asshole. That's what I did.
Started foreshadowing at this thing called the 30th anniversary, and the 30th Pokemon anniversary, which again will be in February of next year. He said, oh, you think things are crazy like Van Gogh Pikachu or a little bit of this? Just you wait till the 30th anniversary. The problem is 2025 happened. Okay, and what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is a year before the 30th anniversary, things got really crazy. And things continued to get really crazy. And only now in October are we finally seeing a little bit of relief 5 months before the dreaded 30th anniversary. Okay, so what am I saying and why is this whatever? No matter what, the 2025 Pokepocalypse bubble, if you will, bubble, yes. The year of 2025, once it is over and years go by, people will inevitably remember this Pokepocalypse bubble as the year 2025, because even a whole year, like even 2021, that was technically the end, you know, is September, October, November, December, whereas 2025, beginning to end, is just things we have never seen before. So when we look back at this time, we are going to refer to it as 2025. I do not think we are going to say, remember how bad 2025 was, and then how much worse it got at the 30th anniversary right after? No. Some things go so high, bubble over so much, you have no choice but to fizzle down, okay? And even if something big also is going to happen, that doesn't just automatically mean that thing will be bigger, because nobody expected 2025 to be as big as it is. So inevitably, if you are getting in now, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, 3 months from now, maybe you haven't even got into the Pokemon hobby yet and you don't see this video until Christmas of 2025. The point is, you're getting in potentially on the backside of a big bubble, where the people like me and all these newer content creators that all of a sudden have really great collections, just like the wave of content creators back in 2021, you see those people, they have massive collections, okay? They started, a lot of them, on the backside of a previous bubble. I personally was already in 2019, 2020, 2021. I didn't start throwing an insane amount of money at Pokemon cards until this feeling inside my body made it feel like it was the smart move. And why did it feel that way? Is because I was on the backside of a bubble. I was in 2022. I was in 2023. I was in early 2024, where every raw Pokemon card I bought, it just didn't feel like a bad idea. For whatever reason, it felt like a good idea. And so on the backside of a bubble, the commitment to the brand, the IP, the cards, the collection, that's what carried me into where I now have a very impressive, worth much more money than I paid for it over the last 3 or 4 year type collection. So it is very important that you right here and now curb your expectations, understand that if you are a sealed investor and if you are putting all your money into Mega Evolution booster boxes right now, there is a very good chance that you are going to see very minimal returns over the next 2 to 3 years compared to somebody who did the exact same thing with Scarlet and Violet era booster boxes at $90 a booster box a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. The point in me saying that is people like me, when we started and when we were new collectors, we also went years and years and even years where the things we bought did not go up in value, like hardly at all. Like, not at all, you know, like barely, and some stuff just sideways for years and years and years. So what I'm saying is, if you are a new collector now and you're watching YouTubers and people on the internet that got a bunch of cool stuff and you're jealous, just know we all go through this cycle. We all have to put in our dues and put in time, because this is a collectible hobby and it is one of the most popular IPs in the world. If you put in that time and you just have the passion for Pokemon, do not be surprised at all if a couple years from now, rather abruptly, your collection will be surprisingly valuable all of a sudden. And do not be surprised if 10 years after that it happens again. And do not be surprised if 20 years from now it actually happens again. I'm literally being serious when I say, hey, guess what? I, MimikBrew, decided to become a content creator and base everything off the Pokemon IP, not because I just like Pokemon cards, but because I thought the Pokemon IP, the Pokemon franchise, the people pulling the strings at the top, have as good a shot as any corporation or IP on planet Earth of still being relevant the time I'm 80 or 90 or 150 years old. Looking at the data is the data, and all I have is the last 30 years to take a look at, and I have seen massive signs that the Pokemon company, and even when they are dead, they are not dead, and they are always one service, one product, one app, one game, one anything away from another major bubble. I've also noticed this thing where it's really popular to doubt Pokemon's popularity or to not understand just how popular Pokemon is. I think at the end of the day, you need to remember that the Pokemon Company International, I've said it once and I've said it again, they like being the popular girl. They all want to retire with a lot of money. They would all, anybody who works for Nintendo Creatures or Game Freak, they absolutely want to see their brand, the thing they dedicated their life to, continue to be the most popular thing 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. Okay? They've already shown they can do it for 30 years. I don't see why you would start doubting them just because you don't like the prices of things and say it won't be like this for the next 30 years. Now, at the end of the day, MSRP is the single most important thing you could find. MSRP, duh, I'm saying obvious stuff here. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, no matter how popular or not popular things are, MSRP is an option, and your ability to find it will be heavily dictated on, you know, everything else that's going on. Like, how much can this product be scalped for? If it's a lot, it's highly less likely that you're going to find it for MSRP. But the more you go out of your way to create possibilities, avenues, channels for you to find things at MSRP, that will obviously, number one, be the best thing you could possibly do is get the lowest entry point possible and then sit on things at MSRP, because your downside is supremely protected, because worst case scenario, maybe it'll go down to MSRP. I think we are a very long way from all things hitting MSRP. But at the end of the day, getting things for MSRP will always be the best hack, the best thing you can possibly do. It's just not very likely, right? Not very likely when things are this expensive, which in turn is why you probably aren't going to see the biggest gains moving forward on newer products, because a lot of these quick gains are already baked in on release, okay? So that's why I'm telling you, if you're a new collector, a new this, a new anything whatsoever, do not expect to see the same just absolute quick returns the way people who went hard into the Scarlet and Violet era when nobody cared. You know, when Paradox Rift came out, Pokemon was about as dead as possible as far as the last few years. That's when I decided the era was so good, I'm going to master set every single set within the era. Thoughts like that are why people like me are being rewarded now. I loved it when no one else did. And naturally, 4 or 5 years ago, when I saw something and loved it, when everyone else did, you know, I didn't see very many gains. But once I started loving stuff when there were way less people around and things were way cheaper and I still loved it, wow, a year and a half later I see an insane amount of gains. Crazy how that works out. It's the same IP, it's the same product, it's the same thing. But yeah, supply and demand matters a lot. And when the Pokemon Company is on a 9 to 12 month kind of catch-up scenario, and then now here we are with Mega Evolution, things have been crazy for a year. They know that they need to print as much of everything Mega Evolution as possible. Yeah, you're gonna see less gains over the next few years on anything and everything that says Mega Evolution on it compared to anything and everything that says Scarlet and Violet or Sword and Shield on it. And you have to be okay with that, and you have to just curb your expectations. Do not stretch yourself too thin. The moral of the story is nobody makes a killing on Pokemon cards immediately unless you're a dirty
Scalper.
If you're a regular collector, investor, and you engage in this hobby in normal, healthy ways because you actually give a little bit of a crap about this hobby, you're going to be fine as long as you let time be on your side rather than work against you. Yes, timing the market absolutely helps, and some people, timing the market doesn't even matter if you just love things and you develop strategies that work for you and you stick around for a long enough time. Literally. You develop strategies that work for you, you love the IP, you stick around for a long enough time, you're going to be looking really good and sitting really pretty a few years from now. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the video, and I actually have potentially my biggest channel announcement ever, and I do mean ever. It is no secret that I am a master setter of sets that I like for reasons that are literally priceless. I think people who don't like master setting or talk negatively about it, I think they simply put just don't get it. They don't understand the health, the way it makes you feel so good engaging in the hobby, the way it does for you mentally, the way it gives you goals, the way it gives you a sense of direction, the way it makes you appreciate every last full art, every art in a set, the way the set is supposed to look in a binder. And why would you not want that amazing and beautiful master set to be in the #1, top of the line, most popular, upward trending, best quality binders on the market today? Ladies and gentlemen, today's video is brought to you by Vaultex. That's right, MimikBrew and Vaultex have partnered up, my first ever partnership and affiliate. And ladies and gentlemen, if you go to vaultex.com right now and use the code VaultXBrew, you will receive 10% off your order. Ladies and gentlemen, keep your cards safe
With Voltex.
But wait, there's more, ladies and gentlemen. From now till the end of the year, anyone who orders a VaultX binder from vaultx.com using code VaultXBrew, all you have to do is send my business email or Instagram proof of purchase using that code, and I will send you your own free custom Derpy Q. Alright, that's all I got. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Deuces.